Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jay, and what we're driving today is the Honda 2025 Pioneer 520. It's an incredible machine, and it's actually a really small side-by-side. So this is one of the ultra-compact style side-by-side. So it's only 50 inches wide. It's got a pretty short, like 73 inch or so wheelbase, so it can literally fit in the back of a pickup truck and things like that. I have very limited storage space in my living situation, so I really needed a smaller machine. It's only a 6x12 shed, so it is what it is. So I started looking at this model here, and I just wanted to give a big shout out to Dutchess County Recreational Vehicles. They're the ones where I purchased this machine. What's up, Mike? Mike really helped me out. He's one of the sales staff there, and it was such a great process. This isn't sponsored or anything. They just really are that awesome. I wanted to give them a shout out. So if you guys live in the area, I would definitely check them out for your off-road vehicles for sure. So if any of you guys are wondering, yes, this is definitely trail capable, as you saw in the intro. I've been literally killing this thing for like the past 2 months. Took me a little bit to get the feel for it, but I've been pushing it extremely hard, and that's why I got a lot of the accessories that we'll talk about a little later, such as skid plates and things like that, because I knew I was definitely planning on beating this thing pretty hard, and I live in a really rocky area, so a lot of times bottoming out and things like that is very common where I ride. So I just wanted to tell you one other reason why I wanted to get this machine as well is to teach the kids how to drive. So, you know, my daughter's, she's going to be driving soon, and self-driving cars aren't quite there yet, especially on the roads I live on. So clearly they're going to have to know how to drive, definitely Layla. So I figured this would be a perfect machine to obviously have fun with the kids, but also train the kids to drive, you know, in the snow and things like that.
But you gotta turn quick. Very good. Yeah, just turn the wheel. There you go. All right, got a second. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Unbelievable, Layla.
This does not have power steering, so it's going to force them to, like, you know, turn the wheel and have both hands on the wheel and really pay attention to where the tires are, which is so important when you're driving in a real car, especially in hairy conditions such as snow, rain, and so forth. So a great opportunity in that regard as well was another reason why I wanted this, not just to have fun and do work, you know, around the property, but also teach the kids. So for starters, the Honda Pioneer 520 actually weighs in at about 1,050 pounds or so, but with all the extras I have on there, it's probably around 1,150 to 1,200 pounds, because I got the winch on the front as well, which is quite heavy. So just keep that in mind. Like, you can fit this in the back of a pickup truck, but you are going to be hauling approximately 1,000 pounds. So if you have a small lightweight trailer, for example, just keep that in mind if you want to trailer it as opposed to putting it in the back of a truck. So for the power plant, we have a 518 cc liquid cooled single cylinder engine, and it's very torquey. It's optimized for like low end torque and like grunt. It's actually got a lot more power than I expected for such a smaller machine. The top speed, unfortunately, is a little low. It's about 38 to 40 miles per hour. So in the trails, honestly, that's more than enough for me. But when you're on the roads or, like, you know, flatter dirt roads for longer periods, it, you know, does feel a little bit slower. It'd be nice if it maybe did 50, but I get it. It is fairly narrow, so they wanted to make sure it was safe. But I would love if this thing had like a 6th gear, like, you know, just for that lower RPM at like 45 mile an hour type cruising, because at 40 the thing's screaming. So I usually back it off to like 34 miles an hour, so the engine isn't like racing when I'm just putting along on the road, sort of thing. Now, it's also got fuel injection, so that just means it's going to start like pretty much every time, whether it's really cold or really hot or higher elevations, things like that. Fuel injection is just much more reliable when it comes to starting in, you know, different situations. So the fuel capacity is 4.1 gallons, including 1.1 gallon reserve, and I've only had to add fuel once so far. So I would say the mileage is really good so far based on my use case, especially with all the extended higher revving driving that I've been doing on some of these ski slope trails that I live near. It's like pretty much pinned, you know, going up the hill, and I've been doing that over and over and over. So I would imagine that's using a lot more gas than just cruising around. So moving on to the transmission, unlike the belt drive automatics that most side-by-sides have these days, the Honda has the way better, in my opinion, traditional gear style, with both automatic and manual options via paddle shifters for the manual. And this, in my opinion, gives you way more control and reliability long term. Something about those belts, I just never really liked them. Obviously, they work. I had it on my previous Yamaha Kodiak, and I never had a problem. But I much prefer gears, especially when you're using engine braking, or if I just want to keep it in fifth gear and like putt along, you know, really slowly, for example. I like being able to hold the gears with a manual transmission. And overall, I would say the shifting is pretty smooth when you're like accelerating. All right, so I'm on the road here, and I just want you to hear how smooth the transmission is when it shifts. But when you're going slower, the shifting is a little bit clunky, especially when downshifting. It can be like a clunk, you know, when it goes in. So again, one of the main reasons I got this is because of the narrow width. At 50 inches, that's like 4 feet. You can pretty much slip in between trees, and really skinny single track trails you can like still go on with this machine. Anywhere I could go with my quad, I can go with this machine. The larger machines, you just cannot do that. They're just way too wide. It is what it is. So with that comes a little bit less suspension travel. So it has like 5.8 inches in the front, 5.9 inches in the rear, but the suspension is really awesome. It's like a double wishbone style. So the wheels stay level like as they're going up and down, which is, you know, just better handling and things like that. In addition, there are preload adjustments front and rear. So you can adjust like the spring preload if you want it like a little more supple for the trails, or if you're carrying like crazy amounts of weight all the time, you can jack those up for, you know, a better fully loaded ride. So the ground clearance is about 8.5 inches, which is pretty good, but I do plan on getting bigger tires in the future, and that will give me like another inch or two of ground clearance. But overall, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with these tires. I didn't expect them to work that good. They're not the greatest, like on steep hills, they do slip a little bit here and there, and in the mud, they slip a little for sure, compared to like mud tires. But I was thinking about upgrading to like in between like a hardcore mud tire and this tire. So just like a more aggressive off-road tire, because I do a lot of riding in the snow, and there are some pretty deep rutted mud trails that I haven't gone on yet. And I think, you know, better tires would obviously be a little bit better for that, because this is fairly likely to bottom out due to the limited ground clearance, you know. So I have the winch on the front in case that happens, but, you know, just forethought for the future. So as far as lean angle goes, this guy can go to 33.5 degree angle before it like tips over. So that's a pretty extreme lean angle. I was kind of surprised by that. I didn't expect it to have such a high lean angle. I thought maybe like 25, 30 degrees, but 33.5 is what they're saying. So I'm pretty confident on some of the trails in my area that are off camber and things like that. You know, at first I was nervous because it does feel a little tipsy at first, but once you get used to it, it doesn't really feel tipsy anymore. It's pretty interesting how that works. But I'm very confident hammering around turns with this thing because all the weight is like low to the ground. So the chances of it like high siding while sliding sideways, for example, aren't really that high. Like I've been sliding sideways on it and it doesn't feel like it's going to tip or anything. So obviously if I hit something or I'm too off camber, you know, the thing will eventually flip over, which I do not want to happen, clearly. I think I'm going to get one of those things for my dash that shows you the angle you're at. They sell them on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. You know, just so you could see the angle and stuff like while you're driving. That would be very helpful. So the Honda Pioneer 520 does not have power steering. I kind of wish it did when I first bought it, but as it turns out, it's not really that hard to steer. It takes a little bit of effort, but like my kids can do it, so it's obviously not that hard. Now, when you're in four-wheel drive, it is significantly harder to steer, especially when going slow, which makes sense, you know what I mean? It's like more linkage involved and so forth. Now, it's got like a 12.8 turning radius, so if you want to, you know, turn around, you basically need like 12.8 feet. Or you could just turn the wheel all the way and put it in like second gear and punch it, and it'll whip around real quick. Obviously, you got to be in the right conditions for that, like gravel or sand or something. But, you know, that's also helpful when you need to make a quick turnaround. So basically in a trail, you just got to go like once and then back up once, and then you can go the opposite direction. So you could easily do that. You don't have to do like a 3-point turn or anything. So I'm pretty happy with that. So as far as braking goes, this features 200 millimeter front disc brakes and has 170 millimeter single rear disc brake that's actually on the drive shaft in the back, which is really cool and interesting engineering. So the braking works phenomenal. I have zero complaints with the braking. It works excellent, so really nothing more to be said there. So you can easily switch from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive with the handle on the dash, and it works great, although the front differential does not have a lock, so you're going to get like the one-wheel spin, slip, grip thing. So I would love for the front to have a front differential lock. The larger Hondas do have that, so it's not the end of the world, but it would be helpful, you know, in some like loose rock climbing, steep conditions. And of course, it would probably be a lot better in like really deep mud. Possibly in the future I might upgrade to that, but probably not. So for work, I feel like the Pioneer 520's got it covered. It's got like a 39 by like 26 inch dump bed here with a hydraulic assist, which is awesome. It also has like notches for buckets, and it's got like tie down straps back here. It also has like this quick lock system that Honda, you know, is part of, so you can buy like accessories that just lock right on and stuff. And it's pretty cool. This bed actually has a 450-pound load capacity, which is a lot more than I expected, to be honest, because it's like plastic, you know. It doesn't seem like you could put that much weight in there, but clearly you can. And it's got like really nice latches on the back to hold the, you know, the tailgate. And in addition, you can tow up to 1,000 pounds with this via the hitch in the back. It's got like the 1-inch, 1.5-inch style hitch, like the smaller one. It's not the full 2-inch size. So for that type of stuff, this thing is a workhorse for sure, no doubt about it. So as far as the cab goes, it's really practical. It's got nice, like a nice comfortable bench seat. It's got like backrests here. It's got seat belts for both people. The steering wheel feels great. Paddle shifters are in a great position. It's got 2 cup holders here. It's got nice switches and toggles for everything, like the automatic manual transmission. You got your lights on and off. You got the hitch in and out here. This is where they mounted that. And then of course you have the 2-wheel, 4-wheel drive. And then down below you got these nice pedals here for the brake and the gas. Now the pedals are a little bit shifted to the right, so if you drive with 2 feet, it might be a little bit of an awkward issue for you, but I drive with 1 foot and it works out fine for me. So now I do wish the cab had more storage. There's literally none. It could use a glove box here. Underneath the seat, underneath me, there's like a little flap that you can peel up to get to check the oil and stuff like that. And you can get like a container for in there for storage. So I really wish it came with that. It seems like it should come with that, but it doesn't. So as far as storage goes, that kind of sucks. When 2 full-size adults are in here, it can be a little bit tight, you know, shoulder to shoulder wise, but I'm usually riding with my kids or myself, so it's not really an issue. And 2 adults can definitely fit, don't get me wrong. I mean, you got to remember it's only 50 inches wide, so it makes sense. They're going to be shoulder to shoulder if there's 2 big dudes or, you know, in this thing. So I just wanted to go over a couple of extras I got, starting with the winch up front. So I got the Honda like factory winch, and it works great. I did try it out once, just pulling a log out of the way, and I really enjoy having the ability to use that winch if I need it, if I get stuck. Next thing I got was skid plates front to rear. So I got full undercarriage skid plates, and I also got the skid plates on the front A-arms and the rear A-arms. They were like extra. And that allows me like maximum protection as far as rocks and things like that. So I really felt like I needed that, considering again how rocky the area I live in is. I also got the Nerf bars on the side here, you can see, for more side protection, which hopefully will help protect against rocks and, you know, getting stuck when I bottom out sometimes. I don't want to be sitting, you know, on the side of the machine, so that will keep that from getting damaged, hopefully. I am a little bit concerned that they might get hung up on stuff at times. Hasn't happened yet, but you know, future might happen. Also, got the windshield here, which is really nice to keep that cold wind off in the winter, and also the water. When I hit puddles, like at speed, the water just comes up and like runs down the windshield. So I would be completely saturated without this windshield, and roof is the other thing I got. So in addition, the roof and the windshield, I could actually be out in the rain. And as long as it's not like torrentially, like sideways raining, like I'm barely gonna get wet. So I really like having that ability as well. So just a couple other things I wanted to talk about were just the incredible engineering of this machine. Like the door latches, for example, are such a cool design. I really like the way that they work. And also just the layout of everything is so nice. The way the roll bars are designed, it's just very, very high-end engineering. When you look underneath and you see how the lift gate works with the hydraulics and where the air box is, the engine placement, you know what I mean? It's just so well made. The, you know, like the drive axles are just like beefy. Like everything under there is just really, really beefy and well made. Same thing with the suspension. Like it's like thick steel. And it's just made to take a beating. And of course, the crazy amount of fun that this thing offers is just off the charts insane. It's like laughing like a little kid driving through the woods. It's so much fun driving this thing. Like when my kid comes home, they're asking me to go for a ride. Like everybody wants to go for a ride. I live in a great area where I have trails nearby, so I'm very fortunate in that regard. But the fun factor on this machine is off the charts, in my opinion, as a 47-year-old adult and, you know, big kid sort of thing. It's just incredible amount of fun. So if you're wondering that, it's more than capable in the trails, in my opinion. And I'm telling you, I've been beating this thing. It's incredibly fun. Work-wise, it's definitely going to crush it with the dump bed and the towing capacity. And four-wheel drive, you know, you don't have to worry about getting stuck in most scenarios. So super happy with my purchase for sure. So at the end of the day, starting at $10,500 US, I would highly recommend this machine to anybody needing a smaller solution to your side-by-side needs. It's extremely tough, has excellent engineering all around, Honda reliability, and the fun factor is through the roof. In addition, the price point is not too bad for something as capable as this. All right, guys, so thanks a lot for watching my video. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please be sure to ask in the comments area below. I'm more than happy to help you out. I'm not exactly an expert on, you know, all things side by side, but I'm pretty knowledgeable with this unit and, you know, the upgrades that I did and stuff. I could help you if you have questions on anything like that. So, all right, guys, I'll catch up with you next time. Thanks again for checking out my video and have a great day. Take care.